Rise and shine, superstars. It's your favorite light coach, MB, and today is a great day. Why? Because you are still here. So stop whatever you're doing, and if you're capable and able to, comment below and say this out loud with all of your might. Come through! If you are so thankful that God has allowed you to see another day and woke you up this morning. Gratitude is the greatest way to start your day. And if for some reason you're somebody who feels like you don't know if you're really thankful to still be alive, then I challenge you today to just take some moment and do some self-reflection and find at least one reason why you should be thankful that you are still here. I know that whatever you're going through right now may seem unbearable and feel like you just can't make it through, but whatever it is temporary. So don't make a permanent decision based off of a temporary situation. There's always greatness on the other side, and you are still here for a reason. All right, guys. So this week we're talking about the 6 key principles that will help you accomplish absolutely any goal. We've talked about discipline. We've talked about resilience. We've talked about excellence. We've talked about action. We've talked about mindset, mental mastery. And today we're going to talk about our senses. And whether you believe it or not, all humans have a 6th sense that God blessed us with. And that 6th sense is called vision. Now, there's a difference between sight and vision. Sight is being able to see what's in front of you. Vision is being able to see and believe what could be, but isn't here yet. That's the difference. Have you ever heard the saying, oh, I'll see it when I believe it? Some people actually live by that saying, and they'll say, I'm not going to believe it until I see it with my own eyes. Then they lay their eyes on it, and they still don't believe it. But vision is allowing you to see things into the future. That's exactly why you set up a goal. That's why you have something you want to accomplish, because you have vision. There's something that you don't have or that you haven't made it to yet, but you set up a goal and you want to accomplish it, and you're using your vision to do so. And we use our vision every single day, guys. Whether you believe it or not, your vision is what is creating the world around you. The question is, are you satisfied with what you've created for yourself in life thus far? So let me tell you about this little kid. His name is Charles. He's an 8-year-old kid. He lives in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home with both of his parents, his grandmother, his older brother, and he has 2 sisters. One is older and one is younger. Now, the older sister stays in the bedroom with the grandmother, and the younger sister stays in the bedroom with the parents, and Charles and his older brother share the futon. So every morning when Charles wakes up, he looks to the window, and the only thing he can see is this dingy, brown, nasty looking glass, and just beyond the glass are some steel black bars. Now, these are the burglary bars. They're supposed to help prevent and keep all the bad people out. But Charles, sitting on the inside, sees the bars as something that's trapping him and keeping him in. So they wake up every morning, they get their clothes on, and they head to the bus stop. Now, on the way to the bus stop, it's no better. Like, there's a little bit of grass here. It's barely green. There's trash everywhere. Like, there's nothing beautiful. Stuff is in the gutter. It's just, you can tell by the outward appearance of the neighborhood how the people who live there feel and what they believe is capable and possible for themselves. Because whatever's on the inside of you, you're going to project that out to the world. And that's what the world is going to see and believe that you're capable of. So it's very important that we work on our inner me so that our inner me doesn't become our enemy. Every time the students show up to school, they're given 3 crayons. This is an underfunded school, which means that they don't have enough supplies for every student to get their own box of crayons. So the teacher basically rations out the crayons. And every morning Charles shows up, he says good morning. He asks politely for his 3 crayons, yellow, blue, and green. That's it, nothing else. Yellow, blue, green, yellow, blue, green, yellow, blue, green. Those are his 3 crayons. Not because they're his favorite, but because he only has the opportunity and the option to select 3. Charles now, he's a really good student. Despite where he grew up, despite his environment, despite all of the bad things that he sees every day, he is a pure good kid at heart. He's not really letting his environment affect him. He is in control of himself. So he shows up, and during class, Charles does nothing else. He doesn't do anything except for color. Now, everybody else, they could be working on math. Charles is coloring. They could be working on English. Charles is coloring. They could be working on spelling, and guess what Charles is doing? He's coloring. Now, if it would have been any other teacher, y'all know they would have probably kicked him out, put him in school detention or something, because he's not doing what everybody else does. But his teacher realizes there's something special in Charles, and so she lets him color because he turns his homework in on time. He does fairly decent on his test, but he just wants to color. So Charles is in the classroom, he's just coloring. And if you're looking over his shoulder, you're like, what in the world is he doing? He's just coloring. For 2 months, all he does in the classroom is just color yellow, green, and blue, yellow, green, and blue, yellow, green, and blue. It's 1 week before Christmas. Charles walks in. Normally he's this vibrant, happy, peppy kid. He's got a sparkle in his eyes. He's just excited to be around people. He walks in and his demeanor, his countenance is kind of low. It seems like something's off a little bit. And he goes to his teacher and he says, today I just need a gray crayon. You don't want your yellow, green, and blue? No, ma'am. I just need the gray crayon. And he said it in such a tone that was low and kind of melancholy. So she wasn't really sure. Every day that week, Charles walked in and he asked for the same thing, a gray crayon, and he did it in the same manner. Well, the next week, Charles had all of this huge stack of papers, and he took it to his teacher and he gave them to her. She laid all of the artwork down face up on her floor until she had every single page of that stack that Charles gave her laid out on her living room floor. So January comes around, all of the kids return to school, you know, with the excitement, the loud chatter. They're coming in, they're just happy to be back because they get to hang out with their friends again. But as the students were walking in the classroom, they kind of got quiet. You remember, Charles is from a low-income neighborhood, and he goes to a school that is very low income. So they don't even have windows in some of the classrooms. So the little girl says, "What's that?" And she points to the wall, and then here comes Charles right after. He says, "Oh, it's my window, it's my window." The entire first semester, Charles was sitting at his desk coloring what he wanted to believe was possible to find. And so what he did was he colored this large painting of green grass, of a crisp blue sky, and this big bright sun that hung right in the middle. And those gray pages, that was the outside of the window. That was his frame. Because he had a vision. Where he was, where he lived, where he went to school, that's not what he wanted for himself. That's not what he believed for his life. And so what he said was, there has to be something that is better for me out there, and I'm going to imagine it. I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to soak it in. So everybody was so excited. They were like, "Oh my goodness, we have a window." So now everybody in the classroom has a window. And now they get to look outside and imagine what life could be like too, outside of the walls that they grew up in. What we see and how we see it, it determines how we're going to live. It determines if we're going to set a goal or not set a goal. It determines if we do set a goal, do we believe it's possible? It determines if our why is big enough. It determines if we're going to stay stuck in our situation or if we're going to rise above it and soar into our dreams. Your sight is what you see every day. Your vision is what you are preparing yourself to see. And when your vision is at the forefront of your mind and it is your main focus and you're doing the tasks that you don't want to do, you're going to complete every single thing, even the boring stuff, even the times when you have to color in gray. You're going to do that because your vision is more powerful and stronger than the discomfort, than the inconvenience of the task that you have to do in order to accomplish. So there are 3 things that you have to do. The first thing is you have to have a vivid vision. What does that mean? It means dream in color. Remember yesterday we were talking about Bobby from Bobby's World and his imagination and how the adult said he had an overactive imagination. You have to have an overactive imagination when you have a vision for your life. It has to be vibrant. It has to be bold. It has to be big. It has to be loud. It has to shake you. It has to make you nervous. And you have to make sure that you see the details. You have to be able to hear the birds chirping. You have to see the grass and know what it feels like. You have to smell the air. You have to put yourself in that place. That's when you use your other 5 senses. It's when you put your vision, the 6th sense together in such a vivid way that your other 5 senses have to follow. The second thing you have to do in order for your vision to actually become a reality is write it down. The Bible says, write your vision down and make it plain. You don't have any goals. You don't have anything that you're working towards. You're one of those people like, I'll do what I do when I do what it does and it gets to me. I cross that bridge. What if there's no bridge? Well, then I'm going to take that street. What if there's no street? What if you're supposed to make the street? You can't be one of those people. I mean, you can, if you're good with that, if you're good with where your life is right now, you don't have any complaints, you're fully satisfied, you can stay right where you are till the day you die. Cool. That's your life. We good with it. But if there's something more that you want for yourself, then you have to be willing to go out and get it. You have to be willing to do the different things, write it down and make it plain so that you have something to go back to whenever that moment starts wavering. You're like, I can't do it. This is the gray time. This is the gray time. I need some yellow, blue, and green in my life. Then you need to make sure that you go and you write it down and you make it plain. The third thing you have to do after you get a vivid picture, after you write it down and make it plain, you have to experience it. You have to call on your other 5 senses and start to feel your vision. Because it's one thing to write it down. It's one thing to think about it. But once you start feeling it, that's when you're like, okay, this thing is really possible. So how do you feel it? You use your 5 senses. You use the other 5 senses that God gave you. Let's say that you have a goal to make $10,000. Well, you ask yourself, well, what do I think somebody who makes $10,000, where would they shop? Where do they eat? What kind of car do they drive? Where do they live? What side of town do they stay on? Ask yourself these questions, and then you take yourself and you put yourself in a place to experience those things. And you can experience your vision. You can experience the life of a person who makes $10,000 a month without having to spend a lot of money. And here's how. Okay? Well, what kind of clothes do they wear? Well, you go to the stores that you think they would shop in. And you just walk around. You don't have to buy anything. It's free to look. That's why they got the big windows, right? They want you to come look anyways. What do you feel when you walk in that store? How does the cashier greet you? What kind of music are they playing in the background? What's the energy in the atmosphere when you walk in? What kind of fragrance do you, because you know those $10,000 stores, a month stores, they have an aroma in there. So what kind of fragrance do you smell? What about a 5-star restaurant? Where are they eating? Go find a 5-star restaurant, get dressed up, feel yourself in this moment. Feel yourself making this $10,000. You don't got to buy anything. You can go sit down and eat an appetizer and grab a drink at the bar. But you're in the environment. You're exposing yourself to where you want to be, and you're feeling it. You're seeing it. What does it smell like? Does it smell like grease in there? No, I doubt it. What are the people looking like? What are they wearing? What are they dressed? Eavesdrop. You do it anyways. You a people watcher. Don't act like you don't like to people watch. Eavesdrop on their conversations. What kind of conversations are they having? What does the food feel like when you eat it? There's a difference there. You want to drive a Lamborghini or a Mercedes, a BMW? Well, go to the dealership. Okay, they might judge you. They may give you judgmental looks, but their job is to serve you because they don't know what you have and what you don't have. So you walk in and you test drive your dream car. How do the seats feel? How does the steering wheel feel in your hands? When you take it off that lot, what do the tires feel like when they're on that road? How does the machine hum? Like, notice all of these things. Put yourself in that experience. You have to get experience. You want to know what it feels like to go to a 5-star hotel? Go. You don't have to go anywhere. Walking in the lobby is free. See what the greeters are doing. What are the receptionists doing behind the desk? What is their attitude? Are they happy? Do they greet you like, welcome to Motel 6. The light's still on. No, they're excited to be there. They're happy to work there. Go in there to their dining area. Ask for a bottle of water. Just sit down. Just sit down and be for a minute. Take a book and read or something. Just be for a minute and pretend like you have a room there that night. Just hang out so that you can experience it. You have to call on your other 5 senses, your sight, your hearing, your taste, your smell, your touch, all of these in order to make your 6th sense, the vision, come to life. That's exactly what Charles did. Charles did everything he was supposed to do. He thought of it. He had a vivid picture in his head. He wrote it down. He made it plain. He was coloring. Other people didn't see. People aren't going to know what your vision is looking like when you get started. They don't see the vision. His teacher didn't understand, why am I getting a whole page that's blue and a whole page that's green and this page got some yellow and blue on. They don't always see the vision, but your job, because it's your vision, it's your responsibility to keep going. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. You know what you're going after, and you have to stay committed to it. Write it down. Make sure it's vivid and make it plain. Understand. Charles was like, you know what? I can't get another color. I need these 3 colors. These are the 3 colors that I really want to saturate in my brain. The birds will come, the flowers will come, but I need some good grass. I need a fresh, clean, crisp blue sky, and I need a big, bright sun. Then he put himself there. How can an 8-year-old put himself in there? Oh, he did it. He did it every single day. He sat in that classroom and tuned everybody out. He didn't care about who was cutting up. He didn't care about who was talking back to the teacher. He was in a zone. And in his mind, even though he was an 8-year-old in the classroom just coloring on some paper, he could imagine, he was feeling the green grass under his feet. Like, oh my goodness, this is a whole different feel when I walk. I could take my shoes off and my socks off, and I don't have to worry about stepping on glass. He could smell the freshness in the air of that sky he was painting. It was so blue, so clean, so crisp. And that sun, man, it wasn't baking. It was warming. It was a glow. He could feel all of that. And that's why he wrote it down. And that's why he put it up. And then the best part, guys, listen to this. When you follow everything that you're supposed to do, when you stick to these key principles and you accomplish your goal, you stay disciplined. You stay resilient. You have an attitude of excellence. You take action, the right action, not the peripheral action, but the intentional action. You master your mindset and your thoughts, and then you get the vision. When you stick to doing all of that and you accomplish your goal, because your goal, if you're doing this, that means your vision is bigger than you. That's what that means. So once you accomplish it, you're not going to be the only person that is able to sit back and appreciate it. All those other kids in the classroom had no idea what he was doing all first semester. And now the second half of the year, they're able to sit back and appreciate the work that he put in, the discipline that he put in, the focus that he had. And now Charles, good old Charles Brewster, he lives in Southern California. And he has this beautiful big home with floor-to-ceiling windows, no bars, no smudges. So every morning when he wakes up, he sees exactly what he imagined when he was an 8-year-old boy. That green, lush grass, that clear, crisp blue sky, and that big, bright sun hanging right down. He took himself there. He wasn't focused on what he could see with his eyesight. He was focused on what he could see and believe with his mind sight, with his vision. And that's what you have to do. Once you adopt all of these key principles, all 6 of them, and you put them to work, it is a guarantee that you will accomplish whatever goal it is that you set out for yourself. But guys, you know what it is. If you don't remember anything I just said, always remember this. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be great. And it's a great day to find the greatness in you. So go out there and live the greatest day of your life.